So, as I kind of led in this morning, we are starting this. This is the first of 3 weeks where we'll be talking about the Sermon on the Mount. And it's the fundamental teaching of the gospel. And this morning we begin in Matthew 5, verses 1 through 12. So hear these words. When Jesus saw the crowds, he went up the mountain and he sat down. His disciples came to him, and then he began to speak and taught them, saying, "Blessed are the poor in spirit, for theirs is the kingdom of heaven. Blessed are those who mourn, for they will be comforted. Blessed are the meek, for they will inherit the earth. Blessed are those who hunger and thirst for righteousness, for they will be filled. And blessed are the merciful, for they will receive mercy. Blessed are the pure in heart, for they will see God. Blessed are the peacemakers, for they will be called children of God. Blessed are those who are persecuted for righteousness' sake, for theirs is the kingdom of heaven. And blessed are you when people revile you and persecute you and utter all kinds of evil against you falsely on my account. Rejoice and be glad, for your reward is great in heaven. For in the same way they persecuted the prophets who were before you." Lord, open our hearts and minds by the power of your Holy Spirit, so that as these scriptures were read and heard, your word finds a way through. And may your truth come through in my words to follow, but in the lives of each of us as we hear what you have to say to us today and each day forward. In your name we pray. Amen. So, if you find yourself with nothing better, an afternoon or an hour to waste, go home and turn on your computer. And I want you to encourage you to take a similar experiment to what I did this week. I want you to go into your favorite social media platform if you have one. Facebook, Instagram, Snapchat, whatever. If I missed a type, it's because I'm old. But in that search bar, type this. Because every search has that search field. Type #blessed. And for you that may be unfamiliar with that, the use of, or the phenomenon of a hashtag, it's a tag of sorts. In 2007, when forest fires were starting to threaten San Diego, somebody posted Twitter news updates about the fire with the term #San Diego Fire. And it just erupted. It became a way to search for this particular event. It became a way to classify a group of related posts or images or users within the tool itself. And today, everything gets hashtagged. I looked on Tuesday, and here were the top hashtagged items of the day. Number one was the Grammys, apparently. #Grammys. #blessed was number two. #impeachment. #The Bachelor. The last one was pretty sad. It was #Mamba, referring to the death of Kobe Bryant and his daughter Gianna. But that blessed hashtag has been everywhere since 2014. And honestly, it's used in some pretty odd ways. Apparently, as I search through my social media, I am seeing that God has blessed us for so many things all over the place. Something you wouldn't expect. I saw a superstar actress, #blessed by God, with a multi-carat engagement ring. Blessed. Okay. The Kardashians were blessed with a mid-winter getaway to some tropical island aboard their private jet. Blessed. Kim Kardashian was also blessed when she showed off her new 1,500 square foot walk-in refrigerator for her family of 4 or 5. Blessed. Now, then I turned closer to home and I saw a friend that was blessed by closing a project at work. And one that was blessed who put that tag when she showed off her manicure. Blessed. I saw a friend who tagged themselves blessed after missing a massive accident last weekend. And I saw another attached to a picture of a friend wearing a football jersey. And I also have a friend who was dressed in a sports bra and leggings showing off an embarrassing level of skin, tagging herself. Hashtag blessed. Now, maybe Sophie and her friends, being understandably wiser and more hip than I am, would say that I'm looking at that blessed thing wrong. Blessed, they might say, it doesn't mean what I think it means. We were talking that if you look in the Pew Bible, it's not blessed as a poor in spirit, it's happy on the poor in spirit. Because that's a newer interpretation of the Beatitudes, is this happy. So maybe it's just happy that you have a 1,500 square foot refrigerator. So, but that's a big refrigerator. That's 15 feet by 10 feet. I don't think my bathroom.
Solitary cell.
I don't think my bathroom is as big. All my bathrooms combined are as big as that. But it had me, so maybe it doesn't mean happy, and I don't want to, to jump down people's throats. But it had me starting to think, what does it mean to be blessed? Does it mean divine favor? And if so, are all these things the measure? Sometimes they certainly seem that way. But then deep down I know that most of these posts seem to be a look at me type of thing. Yet in all my self-righteousness and belief that I am right, I shouldn't stand up here and wag my finger too hard at them in these posts. Because I imagine if we asked 100 people that looked and lived just like us what it means to be blessed, our answers might be similar. Maybe our answer would point to those people who just seem to have it better. Tom Brady and Giselle. Not only are they both beautiful and chiseled directly from marble, they achieved everything that's possible. Fame, wealth, everything. And it seems that God has blessed them beyond measure. Right? But what if it's not those of us with the chiseled super? What if it's not those with the chiseled good looks? But maybe it's those that have the resources, the 1%. They have the name and the wealth and the prestige. Not to worry about how much a semester of college costs. They don't have to worry about putting money into house repairs or their 401k. They certainly don't have to drive on ball tires or go to bed with a toothache as they await their next paycheck. Surely they are the blessed ones. They don't have to worry about things. That's a blessing. Maybe it's those in power. In all corners of our lives, there are people with power over us. And their will is so much more easily imposed on each of us. When they say your tax rate has gone up, guess what? Your tax rate has gone up. When they say you have to work on a Saturday, guess what? You work on a Saturday. When they say it's their way, it is. Maybe they are the blessed ones. Yet the scripture we just heard said It doesn't work that way. God has something else to say about our understanding of how we assign our blessings to our stuff, to our beauty, to our things, to our status. And this scripture reminds us that God's economy is different. So let's add a little bit of backdrop to this story. We have jumped a bit forward. We spent the last 2 weeks talking about the time right around Jesus' baptism and those first disciples. There's also the story in there about Jesus escaping into the wilderness and being tried and tested for 40 days, and having overcome all those temptations, steps back into the real world and is about the business of starting his ministry. And he starts to travel from town to town, from region to region, and he proclaims this very simple message. It's a simple one. Repent, turn around, change your ways, embrace this new way of life, because God's kingdom is not some distant promise to happen to you after you die, or something that we'll realize 1,000 years from now, but God's kingdom is right now, in the here and now, and it can be experienced today. And Jesus says, let me tell you how. He does that from town to town. And I imagine it becomes a bit of a spectacle. Some show up for what Jesus can give them. Maybe it's healing or wholeness. And then there are others that just come to see what all the noise and hubbub is about. But either way, we get the feeling that the crowd becomes exhausted. And it tires Jesus out, and he escapes to go get some quiet time and some downtime by himself. Maybe he's going to pray, maybe to take a nap, maybe sneaking off to watch a football game. Who knows? But the disciples, they find him, and they sit down together, and Jesus starts talking to them about all this faith thing. And what we were left with is chapters 5 through 7 in the Gospel of Matthew, the Sermon on the Mount. And ultimately, it's considered the most pivotal point of all of Jesus' teaching. The single foundational teaching to the Gospels. The starting point for everything else. That's why one message carries 3 weeks. And it's radical and it's transformative because it shifted the faith 180 degrees. Prior to his teachings, the faith was about the Ten Commandments. And then how the law evolved out of those Ten Commandments so that you could live into that law and fulfill as much as you could. But the Sermon on the Mount shifted things from what you shouldn't do to what you should be chasing. It was interesting because when I was out researching this past week, I saw a lot of comments that said this is unachievable. This is something you can't live into. And it's an impossible task. It's before us. And that we are naive if we think we can live into that. But Jesus proved it wasn't an impossibility through living it out. And he took these rules and said, this is the attitude that you're called to embrace. It's not easy, and I'm going to show you how, and watch me. And I also found that, interestingly enough, a large portion of biblical scholars believe that people of faith are called to memorize these 2 chapters. And it becomes something that you devote to daily. That your devotion is to live into these words over 2 chapters. And I started to think about that, and I'm thinking that the act of memorizing, the very act of memorizing it and treating it like a mantra of sort, is something that could help us live it out. See, when we find ourselves in that moment, when we see the Instagram posting of an over-the-top trip or an over-the-top refrigerator, our first reaction, it's not fair. But what if our first reaction was, blessed are the poor in spirit. And when you see those people and your first gut reaction is to push them down the stairs, now this passage helps you take a breath and recognize that Jesus flipped the equation. And that flipping occurs immediately. We step into this monumental moment with the Beatitudes. Blessed are the poor in spirit, for theirs is the kingdom of heaven. Blessed are those who mourn, for they'll be comforted. And blessed are the meek, for they'll inherit the earth. Now there are 8, 9, or 10 of them, depending on which translation you chase after. Through the equation, I think it's kind of neat if I was to kind of cut the last couple of them into more than one. You would have 10 Beatitudes to marry to the 10 Commandments, but that's a different sermon. Throughout the equation is flipped because the people that Jesus calls blessed, or happy, or well off, or successful, or however you want to take these passages, are not the people who society labels as blessed. The poor in spirit, those who hunger and thirst for righteousness, the mourners and the meek. I can't imagine any one of those words being applied to the Tom Brady's of this world, or what we see of them on the surface. I do remember an argument or a discussion after Tom Brady won his 4th Super Bowl, and they were doing this special about the 6 quarterbacks that were drafted before him. And when they were interviewing at the end, he broke down in tears and he said, there has to be more than just this. There has to be more to life than football. So instead of blessing the Tom Brady's, the Kim Kardashians, the Donald Trumps, whoever, Jesus looks at the poor of spirit. For those dependent not on anything that they own or themselves, but dependent on God for everything. They don't have the willpower or the means to simply change or to stop what they are doing. They are the ones whose spirits are broken. They are the ones whose hearts are constantly broken by the degree to which they continue to stumble and trip and fall. Blessed are the poor in spirit. Jesus looks out and he said, blessed are those who mourn. Blessed are those whose hearts are broken. Blessed are those who look around at the world and their lives and know that this wasn't the way it was supposed to be. They are the ones who are never more than a few deep breaths away from crying out loud. Maybe the tears come from having a child gone too soon, or a spouse too soon. Perhaps the tears come because of what could have been, or what should have been. Blessed are those who see God and realize that God didn't want it that way either. Jesus looks out at the crowd and he sees the blessing in those that are meek, those that are humble. He sees those who fight that urge to have the best seat at the table, the best places of honor. Blessed are those who deep down know that better clothes, better jobs, better teeth, whatever, means nothing. Blessed are those who don't think they are more important than the next guy, or deserve more than their neighbor does. Blessed are those who hunger and thirst, who truly hunger and thirst for righteousness. He's talking about the people who are truly aching in their body to be better. To stop screwing this up. To keep from making one stupid decision after another. Those decisions that keep them pushing them further away from the people that they were called to be. Blessed are those who know they stumble, but yet keep trying again and again and again. He looks at those who look out at the world and truly see people in need and then do something about it. He looks at those who are willing to forgive whatever led up to that moment and offer a new beginning and a hand to hold and a companion for their fresh start. He looks at those who don't stand up and tell the world that the poor person deserved it or the junkie had what was coming to them. He looks at those that don't cry follow when somebody else is lifted up from their mud and muck and say, what about me? Jesus looks at those people and says, blessed are those that are full of mercy. Now he looks out at all of us, at you, me, the stranger beside us, seeking those who are truly pure, truly kind, truly caring, not just in order to get something, or to feel better, or to rise above, because they can think, but instead because they can think of no other option. Blessed are the pure of heart. Blessed are the peacemakers, those who travel this life differently. Blessed are those who are willing to stand up for a way without conflict, to stop fighting, to lay down their anger, their weapons, their desire to be right, even if it will cost them absolutely everything. Blessed are those who chase peace so that others who have known nothing but war, violence, or conflict can take a breath. Blessed are those who are willing to listen for the sake of others. Finally, Jesus looks out at the crowd and he knows what comes next. He knows that this isn't what the world teaches, and he knows that the finest seats at the table are reserved for other people. But he looks at those who truly believe, that truly hold on to all of this stuff, and he declares them blessed, even if the world laughs at you. Even if the world laughs at you for buying into it. Blessed are you who looked like a fool to the world, or as a joke, because you believe and grab hold of what he promises. So blessed are those who are feeling broken, abused, unseen. Blessed are those of us who are feeling as if the world doesn't see us, or if they don't care. Blessed are those who no longer feel useful, or no longer feel lovable. Blessed are those of us who stand dented and bruised, and simply tired. Why is this so important? Because it's where the gospel, the good news of our faith, is born. It's where it's born and takes root and flowers. It's a reminder that it's not our strength, our treasure, our virtue in which we find love or are loved. Instead, it will always be in the redeemed brokenness of our lives, our relationship, our world, because the good news is that we have a God who breaks through all of it, who makes beautiful things out of mud and muck, who blesses us when the world turns its head. It's foundational. There's nothing more important than this. But we also have to recognize that it's hard. It's hard to live like this. It's hard to live as a stranger in a strange world. To look out and see the possibility of a full wallet and a full house and a big car. But it's also hard to look at the possibility of a different life, knowing the world is going to fight back and laugh. And the world will push back with venom and all kinds of ugliness. Living out our gospel is not easy. It's a challenge to see and to hold ourselves differently, despite that truth. It's a challenge to look at Kim Kardashian's refrigerator, take a breath, and say, blessed are the poor in spirit. It's a challenge to everyone and everything, people, powers, principalities. So I'll leave you with this. Our call is a call to live differently in ways that seem upside down. We are called to love extravagantly and in costly ways. To care so deeply, people look at us and roll their eyes or shake their heads. To tend to the needs of our neighbors, even if it costs us everything. To see everyone as worthy and blessed, and as your neighbor, even if they don't look, act, vote, love, smell, or dress like you do. Ours is a call to find the face of Jesus in the marginalized and the forgotten, as well as those who believe themselves forgotten, or those who do the marginalizing. Ours is to work to change a system that puts people on the margins, or on the other side of the door, or on the other side of the wall. And ours is to love those who slam the door and build the wall. If we pause and take stock of our story, our coming and our going, our beliefs of what truly matters, and what makes a difference in our lives, and it stands contrary to the rawness of this call and these words, then we're doing it all wrong. And our task needs to be about starting over. As a church and as individuals. Let us pray. Lord, we all wish that this was easier. The reality is there's always someone who seems to have more. They seem more blessed, more loved. When we struggle, when our backs hurt, and when our hearts break, it's easy to lose sight. Sometimes we let go of our hope and our trust. Somehow, as we move forward, help us to remember these teachings. Let us commit the words to more than our memory. So when we are hurt or get lost in the world, we are reminded of how we define blessings. And in that reminder, keep us expecting you to show up in the midst of it all and redeem. And in those moments, we will offer our thanks be to God. Amen. Our hymn of response this morning is 2132 in the Faith We Sing songbook. You who are thirsty.